Comfort zones are sometimes safety zones. So in some instances, it's okay to stay in your comfort zone. I would just say bump it up a little bit. I would bump it up just a little bit so that, you are trying a new thing, even if it's a lipstick color or or a polish color, but just bump it up.
Welcome to We Ain't Normal. My name is Charmaine Fuller, and I'm an everyday mom sharing how I navigate my ADHD brain. Each week, we share tools, inspiration, and resources to help you uncover how to reclaim your time, energy, and focus. So thanks for hanging out with me today. Now on to our show. Are you looking to shut down some of the open tabs in your head? If you're a professional mom with ADHD like me, girl, I feel you. And this is why I created the Simplify My Life newsletter. The Simplify My Life newsletter shares real life tips, resources, and support to help you shut down the noise and navigate your ADHD life. Trust me, this is the one email you'll be looking forward to opening in your inbox. Join today at the link in the show notes below, and I'll see you there. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the We Ain't Normal show. As I told you, this part of this season number 2, I am helping you to get all of the pieces of your life together. And nothing is more important to a woman than her wardrobe, accessories, shoes, handbags, all of the things. But sometimes it can get daunting when there's a lot going on in your closet, your body has changed. And this is why I brought on my girl Denitra with Unforgettable You. When I tell you her glam, if you follow her on Instagram, it just reminds me kind of like old Hollywood with a modern twist. I love how she dresses, and I love some of the practical tips that I've even gained from her in a workshop that I was in that she taught. So Denitra, please intro yourself and let the peoples know who you are.
What's up, everybody? Hello, I am Denitra Townsend Gregory. I am an image consultant, and the name of my company is Unforgettable You. Some of the things that I do, personal shopping, wardrobe styling, self-esteem advocacy. I do a lot of color analysis, body type analysis. But overall, I love helping women and individuals find their personal style and settle into their personal space to have confidence and to walk in their calling, very sure of themselves. So I'm sure we'll talk more about what that looks like during this podcast. I'm super excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. So let's dig on in and let's just get down to how confidence really affects how we show up. And a lot of that is with our clothes. Like I know sometimes for me and being a mom and you've had some babies. And so how you show up in the world, you kind of forget who you were. And you sometimes need that boost to like bring you back. How do you suggest women go back for that boost after they've had like a major life change event, either weight loss or weight gain or baby or whatever that might be?
Sure. I am also a retired social worker. So a lot of what I do is very psychological. It involves the mental space heavily. And so that's why I don't call myself a stylist. I call what I do actually is image consulting. So it involves styling and it involves clothes, but it also involves mental space with a woman or an individual. So I always like to tell my clients to start over, to start back thinking about some of those things that they loved as a little girl, as a little boy, as a child. Journal those things and figure out how to fit them into your womanhood, your adulthood. So sometimes that can look like a young lady as a child. She loved the whimsical type of magical things about fairy tales and about cartoons. And that often showed up like very whimsical in her style. And so I always ask, well, how does that look to you as a woman, as a woman in a professional space, as a woman in your house? What does that look like to you? So I do require that people look within before I try to tell them, hey, try this, try that, because again, personal style is what? Very personal.
Yes.
So let's take the whimsical little girl, for instance. That may look like in adulthood, she likes very romantic, very
Oh,
womanly, very things that move, things that have a lot of ruffle, that type of thing. And so I try to encourage that woman to let's explore some of that. Let me show you how that could look for you in adulthood. And so really just going back to who we were as children, it has a hint of what we're looking for now in adulthood. And I think that is the most practical start to finding out again who we are, because who we are will inform us of what we like, right?
yes. One of the things that you said that I know I didn't think about when, like, I was redoing my style until I heard you, was this whole piece of going within and not just like, okay, so I want the Kris Jenner look, or I want, to, have this type of look. And it's like, well, why do you want that? Do you really want to, go through all of that? Like what, and having me to pull back and say, well, how do I really want to dress? Like, is that really the style? And that whole piece of just journaling out and figuring out where you are in this moment and what you want, and being okay with, you might feel romantic and whimsical this month, but something might shift and grow in your journey and you may feel like donning a three-piece suit.
Exactly. And nothing is wrong with that. I do believe though that all of us have this what how do I want to say it? We all have a category that we tend to stick to, and it's okay if that category looks like a different category one day or one week. But so what I mean is I am typically a classic part, like I like classic styles. What I don't like is to fit in a classic box. So I incorporate other pieces of categories into my look. So my classic may look like I may have a three-piece suit on, but I really like interesting jewelry. So I'm going to throw on a pair of funky earrings. Or I am going to grab a hand painted clutch, that type of thing. So a lot of people think that just because they are typically a classic or typically very eclectic, that they have to stick to that in every single piece of clothing that they have. And that's just not true. You are allowed to dabble and to mix up your look, but the base of it generally is one category. But you are allowed to mix and match. You are allowed.
How would you suggest a mom move from leggings and sweatpants into, along with the journaling, into getting comfortable even going for her own style? Like she knows she needs to change and she doesn't love how she's dressing, like she doesn't love her closet, but
Yeah.
the fear of getting it wrong, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, I think so I provided a tip Tuesday, maybe I think it was last year or earlier this year, that suggests to find inspiration. And so one of the things that I like to tell my clients is it's okay to go online and to see what you like. how do you know without seeing it? It's okay. And so finding inspiration, and that may look like, following a person that whose style resonates with you. That may mean going and looking in magazines. That may mean going actually physically to a particular store, because all stores have a particular style. So
Yeah.
going to one or two or three stores and figuring out, hey, I don't like that store because that ain't me, but this store just speaks to me. That's how you figure out how to get out of those leggings. And you really do just have to do it. Like, you have to make up in your mind one day that you're just going to explore. You have to explore. There's no other way to know what you like unless you see it, unless you see it in a magazine, unless you see it in social media. So my first tip is to find inspiration.
In that, ladies, I want you to hear what she said, because this is the most uncomfortable part. Actually, physically going into a store and trying things on. Um, Physically, and if you don't go into a store, if you have something delivered, actually trying things on. One of the best things, I took my BFF with me. And so, because she was like a second set of eyes, right? And her being able to, like, this hangs better, try this out, those colors look great on you. When I was like, oh my god, this is going to be so like, like this, she's like, no, try this out. Like, take somebody with you, even if it's not a BFF. Take somebody with you who will almost force you to push the envelope and go, no, try this color, let's see what this color looks like on you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to see it on. There's nothing. I tell my clients all the time, because, some of my newer clients are like, are you sure? Of course I'm sure, because I know what I'm talking about. But I want you, I want you to be sure. So let's meet at a particular store and let me show you how beautiful, how wonderful this look can be, because clothes don't come alive until they're on our bodies.
Yes.
And so you have to make the items, the clothes, come alive, and you will know whether they come alive or this ain't
Yeah.
it. you
Yep.
know so the exploration again is something that's really key in getting out of those leggings and getting out of a rut. You have to explore.
And that whole piece of finding inspiration, I found that when you get into action, you begin to get even more inspiration about what works for your body, what doesn't, and you really begin to see how to play with shapes with your own body.
Absolutely. And there is no, what I like to tell my clients too. So, and this go, I mean, so once you find out what looks great on you, then how, if an item, and this is something maybe I could come back and talk about, but how, if something doesn't work for you, how you can make it work for you.
Oh,
So there are these people that we don't necessarily call upon anymore. These special people called seamstresses
oh, yeah,
and tailors, and it is that art has been lost. It's actually, a craftsmanship. It's something that a person does with their hands to accommodate whether something fits you, and if you don't like the way it fits, they can adjust it. These people are magical.
I have a couple of pieces. Somebody recommended that to me. I have a few dresses that I like for things to be a little bit more pulled in and fitted. And it's a cute dress, but it's not fitted. And they're like on my garment thing in my closet to go to, because I found a seamstress to take them to and to get them to fit the way I want them to fit, because they're so pretty.
Yeah, yeah. I heard, and this has been with me since I've heard it. Tracy Reese, who is a Detroiter, um, her line is called Flowers of Dreams, or Dreams of Flowers. Please forgive me, but it is readily available to look up on the internet. But she said something one time on a panel. She said that we have lost the legacy of fashion.
Oh,
So what that means is our great grandmothers could have had an item, and as the years go on, the hippier and the more curvier we got, but they started off pretty small back in the day. But an item like, let's just use a handbag as an example. We can actually create legacy through fashion. And this is something that I'm really passionate about: slow fashion. So slow fashion means that you're not necessarily going to a retail store to pick something off the rack. You're passing it down from generation to generation to
wow.
generation, which means that's why these tailors and these seamstress people, these artisans is what I call them, are so important, because they can adjust things while keeping the integrity of the piece in the family. So this is another reason why these magical people, I call them, are just so vital to fashion and to sustainable fashion. I mean, we can go out every day and pick up a piece from what's an inexpensive Forever
H&M
21 or
or something
H&M.
like that. Yeah.
And I'm not mad at nobody, because sometimes I go there too, but we can do that, or we can pass down pieces that are of quality from generation to generation to create legacy. So that's something, as a people, as a Black people, besides the financial piece, we can actually use fashion and style to create legacy.
Wow. And as you say that, I remember like when one of my grandmothers passed, people were like going for her hats and
Hmm.
suits. Like it was, it was, who got the stole, and they would take it and they would repurpose like lots of the pieces.
Yeah,
And we hardly do that anymore because clothes are like so readily available. And
absolutely.
as you say that, that's like kind of that I was unknowingly moving into, because a lot of my pieces, I'm paying more for them because
Absolutely.
I'm looking for a quality of piece that can move with me,
Absolutely.
and not necessarily something I have to keep repurchase. The only thing I love white shirts. So
Yeah.
that's the only thing I'll have to keep buying is my white tailored shirts. But
Yeah.
everything else, like, I can definitely switch around and repurpose.
Yes, absolutely. And speaking of white shirts, I was at a high school. I won't name the high school last week. They had career day, and I actually spoke about being prepared for an interview in terms of style. And so a white button up or button down for the gentleman was a piece that was not is non-negotiable in
Exactly.
terms of having in your wardrobe, regardless of whether you're going to be in a corporate environment or casual. And as I began to, call out some pieces that just were non-negotiables, that I said, these are things that you absolutely have to have. None of them had these items. And so, as we're even talking, we do need to make sure that we are talking to our younger generations about being presentable and about being
Yes.
prepared, whether it's a corporate interview or something more casual. Like, you just have to have certain things in your closet. It's a must.
Yeah. It's
It's
a
a must.
non-negotiable, For
Non-negotiable.
me, it's not necessarily a black dress, it's a navy blue dress because I
Sure.
love the color. Um, my white shirts are like my signature, whether it's a V-neck or a button-up. I have to have like a really great pair of jeans, like at
Yes.
least one. And a pair of them is fitted, like where it fits my body. And
Yes.
then for my quick, like if I have to run somewhere, I have like the stretchy kind of
Mhm.
almost jegging type. So, those are some of my non-negotiables and I'm beginning to build that library again, because like I said, I was in that space where, oh, what am I going to wear today? Oh, I'll wear the blue sweatpants
Right.
with the green sweatshirt, like this is like my thing. And it was so easy during COVID to really stay out of touch. with
Yes.
that, and how you feel in your body when you have on a crisp shirt,
Yes.
whether it's white, green, blue, or purple, and like a nice pressed clean pair of pants or a skirt, or what, like the feeling, I can't even describe the feeling. It's like,
Yes.
okay, I'm on top of the world today. What?
Yeah, I'm prepared. I'm powerful. And so if we could move into talking about using our style in an intentional way,
Yes.
I am really big on that also. Being prepared in terms of planning it out from, okay, I'm going to go to this place first. I'm going to talk to this person. This is what we're going to talk about. This is the end goal. All of these things that I am mentioning have everything to do with your style. And so if we're not prepared, our confidence could be lacking
Yeah.
as well. And so if our confidence is lacking because we're not necessarily dressed the part, based on where we are or who we're going to talk to or what we're going to talk about, if our confidence lacks, then chances are that meeting's not going to go too well. You're not going to be your best self. You're not going to settle into the confident person that you need yourself to be to win the deal, to get the next meeting, that sort of thing. So I always tell my clients, let's set our intentions. For example, one of my clients, one of the clients that I've worked with, she has a law practice and she is getting ready to step into another space politically. And so that's going to look a completely different way than her owning or being
Exactly.
the boss of her own firm. So now we have to set an intention. We have to do our research. I'm going to say that again. We got to do our research to figure out what that looks like in that space. And guess what? You don't need to lose your personal style when you get into a space. You just need to know how your personal style fits, how you can fit it in that personal space and still be appropriate and still be perceived as prepared.
Wow. Bringing intentionality into how you dress is that's that's a big one, because sometimes I think we can all fall into, let me just throw something on
Sure.
and
Sure.
bounce.
Yeah. And sometimes that works.
Yeah, sometimes that works. Like every day you don't have to be suited and booted, but
Sure.
you definitely, even on the days that you're not, you want to make sure, I think that what you're in still leaves you feeling comfortable. And like,
Yes.
when I think of intention, I think of values. So what are your values and how can you carry that over into how you show up in the world?
Absolutely. Who am I? Who who am I and who do I represent? Because it's not all about us. It's
Right.
about ourselves, our families, our companies, our children, our churches. It's about all of that. And that's why I don't call myself a
Because
stylist.
you are not just a stylist.
I'm not.
Like, this is not normally how the space of fashion is engaged with.
Exactly.
It's just find what you think is pretty and put it on, or whatever is in style. And I want you guys to know, at no point did she say, get what's in style. It's
Or
about,
I didn't mention a particular brand or
right.
a particular price point either.
Because the thrift store can be your best friend.
Hello? Hello?
Some of the things, and it doesn't really matter the size. Like, I'm not super big, but I have thighs and hips and things of that nature. Like, I can still find some things.
Yeah.
Mainly I'm going for the skirts unless they have like new pants, because, the thigh area.
Yeah.
But things like skirts, like really pretty skirts, or maybe some dresses or stuff like that, I have found some really nice things there.
Yeah. Yeah. There are amazing upscale resale and consignment shops now that just really, you walk in and you think that you're at Saks.
Right.
So I never I shop according to my client's budget. Actually, I shop below my client's budget because I just want to prove a point. I just always want to prove a point that price point a lot of times just doesn't matter. Notice I didn't say quality, I said price point because you can find some very well made items in thrift stores and resale stores and consignment. And I think that as we get more into, being more conscious about our green space and our fingerprint in that green space and being more sustainable in all areas of our lives, I think that we'll get to a place where we're like, wait, why am I paying $1,500 for this and it only costs $5 to make it? Literally, why am I giving them all of this money? Why am I giving them all of my money?
I love how you bring that up. And just as you were saying that, I'm thinking, oh my God, I can go into a thrift store and get something bigger and have it tailored. Like I
Absolutely.
just had, it's like, oh my gosh, like I could even, because some of the thrift stores, on the east side, but some of the thrift stores like out here have a lot of name brand things that I am in no way, shape, or form paying these people, like you said, $1,500 for something. But for the quality, would I spend 200? Possibly, depending on how much wear and tear I think I could get out of it,
Right.
how much longer I think I have with it. Um, and that's allowing me to look really fly, not on a budget, but within my means.
Sure. And I want to give us a real, and I shouldn't give this secret, but I am going to give this secret. So, and you do your own research, but trust me on this. Men's fashion is better made
Yes.
than women's. And the reason is because most men don't shop as much as women. And so the makers of these of menswear, they know that. And so they're going to spend extra time and an extra eye and extra inspection, making sure that this piece of clothing is gonna last this man because he ain't buying a shirt every week or every month. He's just not. So let's not underestimate actually going into the men's section sometimes and grabbing a pair of jeans and taking it to the magical people um, that are the tailors and seamstresses. Let's not underestimate menswear. And menswear, I saw it so much in Fashion Week, Fashion Month this year. And I think that that's another direction that we're going to be headed in. We're going to be headed in people saying, "Hey, this shirt, I love this shirt. It's not a woman's shirt. Let me take it to my tailor or my seamstress so that she can tailor it to my body." And guess what? No one will ever know. They'll be asking, "Where did you get this?" And you can truly tell them that it is custom made.
And the other thing with menswear now is it's becoming so non-gender specific that
Yeah, I think,
sometimes you can
yeah.
even take what's there and it's not a lot that has to be done to it.
Yeah. 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 In certain instances, for
Yeah.
sure. Yes, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, this was so fabulous. So ladies, what I want you to get out of this, or what I know I got out of it, is definitely your fashion is an inside job. Even before you start looking at the clothes, even before you start um, flipping through the magazines, get that clarity piece on, how do you want to show up in the world? Who are you? Who are you representing? And then start doing that research, finding that inspiration, taking an honest friend that's going to push you out of your comfort zone into a store and have you try on some stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if I could just say this piece, comfort zones are sometimes safety zones. So in some instances, it's okay to stay in your comfort zone. I would just say bump it up a little bit. I would bump it up just a little bit so that you are trying a new thing. even if it's a lipstick color or or a polish color, but just bump it up. Because some of us, I mean, and I will admit that I am that girl. If I'm safe, I'm safe. And I'm gonna move a little bit slower if I'm safe and
Yes.
trying a new thing versus a person who just their personality is more adventurous. So it's okay to stay true to who you are. Just move, take little bitty steps though to explore new things. And I think that because I think a lot of people think that they have to just jump out there
And
and
buy a whole
try
new
this new
wardrobe.
thing. Yeah, just
Yeah.
start off slow. It's okay. It's okay.
Like Denitra said, a pair of earrings here, a lip color there, a new nail color over there. Just ease into it if you need to.
Yes.
This was so fabulous and just packed full of helpful tips to help a mom get started, and just kind of break out of that rut, because we all get into it. Where can they find you at in these social media streets?
I am all over the place. So I just actually changed my social media tag because I'm in the middle of kind of pivoting and rebranding some things. So you can find me on Instagram, denitra.gregory. That is my handle for Instagram. And then if you just Google Denitra Townsend or Denitra Gregory, all of the other socials should pop up.
Okay. Cool. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
That is where you can find Denitra at on these internet streets. Be sure to connect with her. I know your Instagram page is it's lovely. So,
Thank you.
And until next time, everybody, stay weird, and we'll see you on the next episode. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and it freed you to see your life a bit differently. Make sure to check out those show notes in the description for a full rundown of today's episode with all the important links and resources. If you want weekly exclusive episodes with me personally, make sure to sign up for my Simplify My Life newsletter. I'd love to know what you enjoyed about this episode, so leave a review to let me know how I can continue to support you. So Mama, I want you to know, you're doing much better than you think. You're further than you believe, and you're worthy to have it all. So until next time, stay weird and keep doing you, babe. Coming up next time on the We Ain't Normal show. What often happens when we look at where our life is now, and if it's in such a pain point, we want to go from 0 to 1,000. What that does is just create more overwhelm, because you're going to be really excited about it for 2 days. And then life is going to kick you in the butt and go, girl. You don't live by yourself. You have a 9-to-5 job. Maybe you're even in school. You have lots of other things. You cannot hyper focus on this thing like you are 18 to 20 years old with no people behind you. You have to look at the full scope of your life. Want more of this episode? Make sure your podcast notifications are on and you're a part of the We Ain't Normal family by going to thecharmedlife.show to get weekly podcast updates and notifications. I'll see you there.